establishment has been paid for by the New World Order.
It's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. People are wondering who's going to be next. Don't call us, we'll call you. Yeah.
What's up, everybody? We are back at Around the Mat Pod. I am your host, PJ North. We're talking all things wrestling. It's been obviously a crazy day, but before we get to all that, if you're listening live on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. That helps us out. Try to get those subscribers up, and we see people watching. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from, what your thoughts are on what we're talking about. We appreciate you. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, don't forget to hit that follow button. Leave us a review. That always helps. And obviously on Spotify, you can comment now, which is pretty cool. So leave us a comment. Let us know what your thoughts are there. And follow us on social medias, man, at Around the Mat Pod on Instagram, on Twitter. We're super active there, on Facebook as well. All those things help us. So we're going to get into it. And before we do, let's bring my guy in here. He is the elegant one, T.Y. Tyler, what's up, baby?
PJ, what's going on, man? It's been a sad day, and for a lot of people, also been a sad week. The loss of Ozzy, and
yeah, so many impacts in wrestling, right?
Yeah, man. Now, of course, Hogan. It's just of course, everything else surrounding the wrestling world's been pretty damn good, but it's kind of puts a little bit of a damper on it.
It is a lot of things happening in wrestling, obviously, which we're going to talk about. I guess we'll get into it. Obviously, the big headline here, and shout out to Hulk Hogan, right? I think that obviously there's two things, right? The elephant in the room is his late. I think of Hulk Hogan from my fandom starting to like 06, right? 06 is when he left WWE. Everything after that's been pretty terrible, right? I mean, let's be honest with each other, right? He went through all the stuff with Gawker. He became an outright racist, which none of us knew that, right? I think anybody who watches wrestling now who like is shitting on him passing is only thinking of his life that they're tied to that moment. And like, I obviously separate the two. I didn't know he was who he was in 90 when I started watching, right? 91, 92, when I was like actively watching and doing all this. I didn't know any of that, nor do I care, right? I don't think about those memories in that manner, and his life post wrestling doesn't impact my memory of him growing up, right? So it doesn't also like, do I think he was a bad person afterwards? Yeah, dude, obviously. Like, he became like an alt-right pundit for no reason. Like, I don't get that. I don't understand it at all. And was it to sell T-shirts and sell beer? And maybe. And he understood how to work a crowd, so maybe. I don't know. But that stuff doesn't really, right? I mean, I try to think of the positives, especially on a day like today, right, where he lost a member of the wrestling community in that manner. And, yeah, dude. I mean, I have the fondest of memories, right? I had a Hulk Hogan themed birthday as a kid, right? There's pictures of me tearing my Hogan shirt, and I obviously, right, you could see behind you here, there's a Hogan wrestling buddy. I have wrestling, my figures as a kid. I've got all types of Hogan figures. So yeah, it's a sad day. I don't know that I thought like I wasn't shook by it. In the sense of like, it's a sad day. It's not that like I was overcome with emotion of Hulk Hogan passing at that part, but he was such a dominant force in pro wrestling for the last, again, my entire fandom is probably started because of Hogan, right? As a kid, you're like, dude, I thought him facing Money Incorporated at WrestleMania 9 was the coolest shit ever. Obviously, looking back now, WrestleMania 9 sucked, but it was cool as shit when you're 5 years old. 4 years old like I was at the time. So I don't know, man. I have a lot of good memories as I talk about it. But what about you, man? What's your thoughts on everything, and how are you feeling, obviously, today as we lose Hulk Hogan?
Yeah, man. I feel a lot of the, what you just said. I remember Hulk Hogan, of course, started watching a little bit later in the, late 90s, but it was NWO.
That's what I'm saying. The coolest guy in wrestling, right? Like at that point.
Exactly. Which also, resulted in, another one of the best characters we ever saw, as his rival in Sting for, those few years. And, as you can say as much things as you want about him, but as a wrestling fan, like no one can really take away what he's done for wrestling, whether good or bad. It definitely wouldn't be as global as what it is today. If Vince didn't have a Hulk Hogan back, or didn't create a Hulk Hogan back in the day, we might, who knows what wrestling would have looked like without a Hulk Hogan. And it was really catered to a very niche audience back in the day.
Yeah.
Prior to Hulk Hogan, and he's the one that took it global and was on MTV and doing movies before, we had the John Cena's and the Rock and Batista. So I mean, I don't think that those guys get that chance or even a thing.
If you're 30 plus years old and you're a wrestling fan, there's not a single one of you who's going to say that Hulk Hogan didn't impact your fandom at some point, right? Either it's NWO or when he came back to WWE and whatever it was, right? Like, I just don't see anybody who can honestly say that Hulk Hogan didn't have an impact on their fandom as a wrestling fan if you're 30 plus years old. It just doesn't exist, right? Because he was such a profound impact on WCW. Like, even the LOL stuff after, right? I mean, like, I really didn't see or watch actively any of his TNA stuff. It had turned at that point. It stopped being cool TNA at that point. So, him and Bischoff ruined a lot of shit. And then obviously he has his LOL moments now where you got booed in Netflix, and then so like, regardless of that, but if you're 30 plus years old, you're not going to sit here and tell me you're a wrestling fan and you didn't have some sort of impact from Hulk Hogan at that time. Also, being 71 years old and passing, man, sad. They say from cardiac arrest and potentially, I think the thing that sucks is like the people that will try to profit off of this or try to, like, you look at Bubba the Love Sponge, right? Which is like, that's the whole thing went downhill, right? I mean, that train went way off the tracks with that situation, right? Obviously he has the sex tape with his ex, with Bubba's wife. They stop being friends. Gawker gets involved. All these things that happen. And then Bubba Love Sponge is the one that says that he is sick, right? I think like a week ago he had known, like, oh yeah, man, Hogan's in the hospital, and nobody else knew about it. Nobody else talked about it. It wasn't really and then passes away randomly today, right? Sucks. Super sad. And that's why I'm saying I think it's all that part, right? From 06 past, like, I don't think about any of that stuff. I only think about Hogan from, like I said, my fandom of 91 and on, right? Which is how long I've been a fan. Basically 91 is when I can remember being a fan and on. So
yeah, and some of that too, early 2000 stuff,
was
because
awesome.
that was
when he was
stuff that I,
dude.
still vividly, was still young, but still vividly remember. And it was still really good. Like that match he had with McMahon at WrestleMania was a street fight, I believe.
Yeah, dude, where they're bleeding.
Awesome
Exactly.
match.
And I think that's the thing that I remember, like I said, all that stuff up until the Mr. America thing was funny. I was like a teen at that point, and so like that shit was, it wasn't Grande Americano terrible. It was funny Hogan thing. Like, it was on the nose at that time funny, right? As a kid too, as a teen. Yeah, dude, like I said, just such a profound impact on professional wrestling, whether you want to, like, again, right? We're separating the two things. Him as a person, obviously the things that happened and were shitty and it was terrible and he was a terrible human. I'm not ever going to deny that. But like from a wrestling impact, it's like I can always separate the two. It's the R. Kelly Diddy thing, obviously not the same sentiment, but like R. Kelly and Diddy were horrible human beings, but separating their art from it. Do you separate the art? Like, I don't, it's everybody is allowed to have an opinion or a subjective opinion about that, because it is all subjective, whether or not you want to separate the art between the person. Right. And Hogan is I'm not comparing the two situations. I'm just saying, like, that is a subjective. You're allowed to have differing opinions, and I will never knock someone's opinion if they can't separate the two. I'm not, his stuff didn't impact me. So, personally, right. He didn't say things about me personally. And so do I think he's a shitty person? Yeah, dude, it sucked, man. The stuff that he was saying was terrible. And the way he acted and supposedly buried people and all that stuff. Yeah, dude, shit's terrible. But like, as a kid, doesn't impact my memories of him. I still kind of keep those, like I said, locked away as a separate entity. And R.I.P. Hulk Hogan. Yeah, man. Sad day for wrestling fans all around, like I said. Whether or not you want to admit
Something I think shitty too, man, is I think that in my opinion, probably two of the two biggest, most influential wrestlers, probably in the sport of wrestling, being Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan. In their later age, when they've gotten out of the business, there's been a lot of things that they've done and said that a lot of people, feel like are going to tarnish, what they've done, and it really sucks because those two are, in my opinion, the most influential and have done the most for wrestling.
potentially
Throughout
for sure.
the
Yeah,
course
man.
of history.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I think when you talk about wrestling, there's two people that are always going to be the biggest stars, right, of that generation, especially if you're my age or even in my age or older, even younger than me. Like, so let's say 30 years old and up, those are the two most influential wrestlers of all time, right? It's Hogan and Flair, right? No one doesn't woo when you chop, and no one doesn't say brother. So, like, I don't know, man. Like, I would just say from a wrestling perspective, yeah, I agree. It's, like I said, looking back, what is your, as I think about it, what is your fondest memory of Hulk Hogan? I'll let you think about it. Mine is, I would say, as bad as this is that it's Hogan I remember WrestleMania 9 vividly. I watched it at my neighbor's house with my brother and his friend. They were like 2 doors down from us. WrestleMania 9 is voted probably the worst WrestleMania. And that's my memory, though, as a kid of Hogan, is him and Barber, Beefcake, and him stepping in. Like, that's a fond memory for me as a kid because I remember it sitting on the floor watching that on pay-per-view. So for me, that was a big, big thing. And again, I was 4 years old, right? Going on 5 in 93. And yeah, I don't know, man. That's mine. What about you?
I would definitely say that it was probably not really one specific moment, but just the whole chase for him and Sting, or Sting trying to get to Hogan. And as a little guy, man, Sting was definitely kind of creepy. Even though he said nothing, he was just kind of up in the rafters, just giving this really strange kind of weird look with the crow on his arm.
Yeah, next thing you know, he's there with a baseball bat.
Exactly, dude. Pointing at people with a baseball bat, and that was like some of the creepiest shit ever. When I was a kid, I used to think that I was gonna go outside and I'd see Sting, pointing at me with a baseball bat, and it was gonna be game over for me.
Yeah, it's pretty wild how it's just, like I said, pretty wild how those memories connect with that, for sure.
And it's like, if that doesn't happen, I don't think wrestling, would have experienced the Attitude Era. I think it would have looked a lot different, of course, if the NWO was never created, of course, Hulk Hogan being pretty much the key staple part of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Just the whole NWO is definitely the fond memories for me for Hogan.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah, like I said, man, RIP to the Hawkster. If it, I'm sure it impacted a lot of people listening. If you do listen, I don't know, you know what I mean. If you're watching, let us know what your greatest, your memory of Hogan is. I hope that it's not the shitty ones. I hope it's not him messing up the Silverdome and all that stuff. So,
yeah, man, I posted something today and just some random commented about like. Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan, and then like rest in piss, Terry Bollea. I'm like, man, I'm just deleting this to get this out of here.
Which is like fair, right? I mean, if that's your opinion,
I get it
as a person, right? It's just like, I just don't see the need to like comment on someone else. Like I said, I'm not going to comment on someone else's moment of what their thought is of Hogan, because like I said, it's subjective. How you feel about Hogan is completely subjective. As a wrestler, if your only thought is of him as a person afterwards, then that's your thing of him. And if your only opinion of his as a wrestler, that's cool too. If your opinion of him as a political pundit is what you think, brother, we got a differing opinion regardless. So lots of ways to look at it. I'll let everybody have their opinion of it today. But other headlines, obviously, as we move past this. It's New Japan's G1 Climax right now, and it started. I don't know if you watch much New Japan. I watch a lot of it, just like I said, kind of like this is kind of when I pick it back up for the year and then get ready as it goes into Wrestle Kingdom and things like that. I just want to get I don't know if you know, but Gabe Kidd got hurt during the G1, and he's been out at least the last week. He's got a knee injury. I think the crazy thing is how it impacts AEW. Obviously, he was involved at All In, and he's been involved in some of the stuff. And the potential that Konosuke could get hurt during the G1. Obviously, get hurt anytime, but like two AEW guys that aren't AEW guys, they're New Japan guys, and obviously they're building to Forbidden Door. That's why they have these people involved. I know that. Kind of sucks, right, to see that. Do you watch the G1 at all? And not even this G1 specifically, but have you seen the G1? What are your thoughts on it? Obviously, the Continental Classic is very similar setup. What's your thoughts on the G1 as a whole?
So I do like the tournament style of like how they did the Continental Classic, but I really haven't kept up with the G1 a whole lot. You know, of course, when they've had some of the bigger names over there, you know,
Yeah.
I've tuned into some of the matches, or more than likely just caught the replays of them.
Yeah.
But I love the tournament style of matches that they've set up, and I was going through some of the matches that they've had so far, and I mean they look like they've been, you know, damn good matchups. That did Gabe Kidd get hurt on the with the match with Takeshita where they had the stoppage?
Yes, that's exactly
Okay.
right. Yeah. No, yeah.
So,
That's kind of where he got injured, and he finished the match obviously, but then, you know, he was injured after that.
Yeah, and it is going to play a big toll for you, especially if Takeshita gets hurt. But I mean, Gabe Kidd, he could be a big part of AEW, and I think possibly when his you know, sad to say for New Japan, but when his contract comes up, I think he probably could, you know, come over to one of the American companies, probably more than likely AEW, because that dude, I don't think he'd last 2 weeks in WWE the way, you know, he's cutting promos.
No, and he has no interest in that. He'll never be that guy, I wouldn't think, until later on, like way later in his career, like an AJ Styles type of thing. Like it just obviously doesn't fit what they're doing over there. It's interesting. Like I said, I think the New Japan, if you are a watcher, obviously, it's my thing is right now, and I saw this, that, you know, ticket sales are down for New Japan, which is weird how people like track that shit. However, I could see why. They are in a place where their older stars, Sonata, Evil, Goto, Yoshihashi, their older guys are older. They're in their 40s. And, like, that's a New Japan thing. It's always kind of been that way. Like, their stars are... But, however, right now, their charismatic guys are... I think that they almost have to take a New Japan of what it was and change a differing approach, because their younger guys should be their stars. Yota Tsuji, outside of having the worst finisher of all fucking time, the spear, I will say it forever, was fine with Rhino, and it was fine with Goldberg. Please stop doing it. It sucks. It's not a finisher. It's bullshit. I'm not the only one that thinks that. I can't be. I just can't be. So please stop doing it. I beg of you. That's a thing. Yota Tsuji's entrance, banger. He looks like, I tweeted this the other day, he looks like Carmine Sandiego. He's dressed in like the thing, and he's got the hat. You know, it's incredible. He's got a great name. The Gene Blast is his, you know, his thing. I don't know, man. Like I said, Yota Tsuji, Yuya Uemura. They've got Ryohei Oiwa. They have a ton of guys that are like on that cusp of like they've already gone on excursion and they have a gimmick now. One of the things about New Japan that's cool and that also sucks is they just won't give up the Bullet Club thing, man. Right? They've got House of Torture, and they've got like, bruh, y'all got to kill some of these factions. It doesn't have to be the way that y'all always thought it had to be. It's almost like they refuse to come into what they have. They're just like, nope, it's got to be this thing. This is formulaic. This is what it's going to be. So I don't know, man. Like I said, I love the G1. I think it's great. Their matches are awesome. You know, the stuff that they do is cool. So we'll see what happens. You know, it started.
With New Japan though, too, dude, is I think they it just seems like they're so up and down, and like it's in waves for New Japan.
1,000%.
I feel like it doesn't matter if the ticket sales are down. It's like the Japanese, they love pro wrestling, and you know, like they have hardcore fans.
The only thing about that though is Noah and the other companies are catching up. See, when New Japan was all the way up, they were the top one. That's the difference. That's the problem, I think. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just think, like, to put that in consideration, those other companies have caught up, which makes it tough.
And do they ever do any kind of like cross promotion?
Yeah, they're owned by the same company. They're all owned by like this. There's a whole thing over there, and it's owned by the same. It's a whole thing right now. That's why it's so confusing, because Noah, partners with WWE, right? They've got, that's where Omos went, and they've got guys over now. So yeah, dude, it's the whole ownership structure, how they partner, how they do. It's all weird right now.
Yeah, so it sounds like the parent company is probably pumping more into Noah than anything else.
Yeah, dude, it's like I said, the whole thing is very strange over there, how it all works out. I'll be interested to see. The G1 is, like I said, ongoing, and it should be cool. Like I said, I think they're building a lot of new stars. Zack Saber's champion again, so we'll see what happens at Forbidden Door and how all that kind of plays out here in the next couple weeks on AEW, because I think a lot of that stuff will start to percolate.
When is Forbidden Door? Is that the next
August 24th, I think?
Oh shit! Okay.
The 24th or 23rd, one of the two, I'm pretty sure. So that's 5 weeks from now. So we'll see what happens.
A little bit of a longer build up than what WWE's been giving us. So I appreciate that.
Right, we got a little time for PLEs. We'll see what happens. Obviously, me and you talked about this a little offline. The San Diego Comic-Con is happening right now, so a lot of figures and a lot of cool things popping up. I got my new Great Muta, which debuted last year at Comic-Con. Finally, this is the Target one. Shout out to Juice Springsteen, who told me when the 5th pre-order was popping up. I obviously have been trying to get it, but the pre-orders sell out before I can get to them. Every time I see a link on Twitter, it's like 2 hours passed and I missed it. And so luckily Juice sent me that one, and I finally got it in today. So another add to my Great Muta collection. I'm still on the hunt for the Nitros, the Chase figures. The only difference are the pants. And so I need those two, and I need the superstars. So if you're listening to the pod and you know where I can get those, I'm not paying eBay prices yet. I'm not that desperate, but let me know. I've been on the hunt at Walmart. They just, unfortunately, all those things are already scavenged. No, scavenger. Yeah, scavenged? I don't know. Whatever. They've been ravaged. That's the word I was looking for. They've been ravaged, so can't find them. But San Diego Comic-Con, like me and you talked about, and I sent you some. What are the ones that you've been seeing online? What do you want? Any of those you're most excited about?
So I'll be honest, I don't collect a lot of figures, but I hate seeing them, because there is some that I want to get that I probably will never get, but I like the thought of having them, and because they do take up a lot of space, man. As far as like really collecting them, my brother, he used to have freaking like 2 big ass tables set up with the stages, the rings,
That's sick.
I mean, this consumed a whole spare room, and
sick.
it was super cool. It's definitely a cool, talking piece. Cool to go up and see, build different scenes and stuff from, things over the years. I know for sure that Umaga figure that we spoke a little bit about, the details on that are insane. And then some of the other ones, I feel like they're really targeting some of these collectors, like making these really, really, one-off type figures from a specific scene of a specific episode.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, you guys are targeting a certain crowd.
Yeah, those watchers. I know we talked a little bit about that Sid figure from when he goes outside and sees his rental cars destroyed. They've got that with the he's got the duffel bag and I think that's just so sick. I'm like, all right. The newest Scott Steiner that's coming out right now is the one where he's wearing the straitjacket and he breaks out of the straitjacket. I'm like, well, who's looking for that specific figure? Who asked for that? Yeah. Give me what I really need is I need a Bobby Eaton collection from his Clash of the Champions stuff. Because that's like the only time he was featured, right? Bobby Eaton. I need those, right? I got one Bobby Eaton figure, and it's the one that's the Midnight Express. I would love to have the one that came out with the Jim Cornette, the ringside. I think it was Figure Toys Inc. or whatever. I need that one. I would love to have that Midnight. But there's a lot of stuff that I see. Obviously, the Muta ones coming out are so cool for me because there's no posable ones from Japan that ever came out. So seeing them now in America has been awesome. I love that they give these guys a little bit of shine. There's some cool ones.
And there's a lot of smaller like brands that are starting to pop
which
up
is awesome.
Figures.
Yeah. I think the big Rubber Guys ones is really cool to see them come out with their newest thing with AEW. Obviously, I ordered the Kazuchika Okada 1 of 3,000 when I was in All In, so I'm waiting on that one to come in. I'm not like a huge collector. I do love to see them because it's cool to see it, but there are some that like hit me and I'm like, all right, I gotta have that, right? And I've got a few. Yeah. I'm obviously a tag team collector, so I see some tag. I would love to get. I didn't buy them when they came out last year, but I should have got them. The Steiner Brothers 2-pack, I should have got that. There's a few. The Hart Foundation 2-pack I just ordered. So there's a lot of those that like I see them and then I wait until I see them again. Like I'm like because I'm terrible with money, man. I'll just buy shit because I like it. Like I don't even care. And so I've got this huge collection of figures forever, and then I'll sell some stuff off. Obviously I've sold some stuff and traded it for other stuff to like downsize. So I'm into that too, but it just depends on what I see out there. Right money.
We were talking about last week, that Sting box with the 3
so
figures.
Sick.
My dad sent me that earlier today, and he's like, man, this is sweet. I might get this.
I know, it's awesome, man. And it's like the ones obviously sent, speaking of San Diego Comic-Con, the one that I saw that was really cool that I sent you was the Rey Mysterio Halloween Havoc, right, versus Eddie. And I thought that it's got the torn mask, and obviously that's going to be the sickest one of the show. Like there's a lot of cool ones that they showed. I'll tell you, the ones that I don't think are cool, that I wish that they didn't, and I get that obviously I don't like them, is the Wyatt 6 one. I saw super detailed, and like somebody's going to really love that. But like, hasn't that thing run its course yet? You know what I mean? Why waste my time and all that shit, By the time it gets out, and by the time that actually hits shelves, it's going to be, the Wyatt 6 will be over. I mean, let's just be real with each other. So, interesting to see. That is the one thing I hate about figures, is because by the time they show it, it's almost that gimmick is over by the time it hits the shelves. AEW is notorious for that. They just announced a Mariah May one. And
I saw that.
I hate to hear that. I don't think she should be paid shit, now that she's over at WWE. Like, she's going to get paid over there. Why are y'all even doing? I would cancel that figure right now. What's the even point in putting it out? But nonetheless, anyways. So yeah, San Diego Comic-Con, man, let us know if you've got any figures that you're excited about. Should be pretty cool. Last headline. Oh, actually, that's not a last headline. I'm moving on. Topic number 1 of the day, I should say. And this one is something that I noticed and I wanted to bring up, and I thought I'm going to put a timer on it because I don't want to talk about it too long. But the whole thing with oh man, I apologize. Give me 1 second to figure this. What are we at? Why is this doing this? 2-person season 3. Oh, there it is. Got it. All right. WWE is Disney to me right now. The crossovers, it's too much stuff it's not the WWE that I look, New Japan, as a New Japan fan, they've had stuff on the mat forever. It doesn't mean I like it. WWE has never had it on the mat, and I hate it more every time I see it. It looks worse and worse and worse every time I see it. AEW with the eye drink on the corners, I hated that too, right? I hated it, but I get why they're doing it. WWE, to me, and the reason I say it's Disney is that it's so commercial that it's become less authentic than ever to me. It's become less of a wrestling thing than ever. I don't know. I want to give you the opportunity before I really go off on what's your thoughts on it right now?
Yeah, I feel like we probably share a lot of the same thoughts on that. I've expressed many times how I hate, we got commercials during PLEs. We have every match is sponsored. Which also I thought about something when I was watching the Dustin Poirier fight. I think it was last weekend.
Oh, okay.
You can tell it's definitely a TKO thing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, and I mean because the Dustin Poirier fight, the main event, of course, the big name on the show, every single round was sponsored by something different.
Yeah, and
they of course flashed the logo, made it known. And I was like, man, it felt like they were just beating you over the head with advertisement. And
here's the thing. I get that, right? Like you get, from a racing perspective, I get dude, I hammer the announcing, like the sponsor announcement. I have a sponsor announcers book that I built for our races. Obviously, we're trying to get sponsorship on cars, all those things, right? So to your point, do you think that it's that not only the TKO thing, and I'm gonna let you finish. I don't want to cut you off, but I wanted to get this out. The TKO thing, like, they're charging me to watch this shit. Why are you hitting me over the head again with sponsorship? You're already charging me to watch it. What are we doing? Sorry.
Yeah, and something big that I thought about when they announced the whole Netflix thing. If you really think about it, to consume all of WWE's weekly content, you have to have 3 different sources of entertainment. You have to have cable for USA,
Yep,
for SmackDown and CW or whatever,
yep,
for NXT.
Yep.
And then of course you have to have Netflix for Raw, and then you have to have Peacock for the PLEs. It becomes to a point like, man, you guys are milking this cow for everything it's worth.
1,000%.
And I get it, to a certain point, I do get it. But as a consumer of wrestling since the the late 90s, early 2000s, it's just becoming a point where it's like enough is enough. AEW, they're leaning a little bit into it, but enough to where it's sustainable. You're able to stomach, they're not beating you across the head. They're not flashing graphics for different brands every 2-3 minutes. And so of course I'm about fed up with it, honestly.
Yeah, dude, I think I'll take these 90 seconds to say this. Again, coming from racing, that's all racing's ever been, is sponsorship. Take sponsorship to get you to the racetrack, take sponsorship to put it on their thing. And these racers, that every racer I've known, I collected race cars because of the different paint schemes. The paint schemes are tied to the sponsors. Again, I get it. That's my point. However, wrestling has never been that. And even with WCW, I understood the ad-based things, like, part of it. But, like, in between every single match and beating me over the head with it on every single thing, I just don't get it. Like, I don't get it takes away from me the value. I'll be honest with you. That's why going to it live is better from an AEW perspective, because they're not beating you over the head with it. WWE, imagine being there live and having to sit through, not seeing the same, like sitting through that, and then it's just paused. There's no action. There is zero action happening. It is commercial after commercial after commercial. And I understand it's a business too. That's not my problem. But at a certain point, when is the greed kick in? It's not because it's so hot, we've got to have it. Like, and I understand that there's a lot of proponents of that part of it. It's like, well, WWE's the hottest thing going. That's why we've got to get that money while we can to this and the other. And I'm like, no. When WWE was at its worst, they were sponsored by karate fighters, okay? So don't fucking give me that bullshit about it's the hottest, that's why we got to get it. No. Y'all are milking it to a point where it's unfun across it. That's my opinion. I hate it. I think it's absolute dog shit. Now, I'll play devil's advocate. Does it sustain the business longer? I don't think you need it, right? Okay, so give me that argument. No, I mean, we're sustaining the business. This is where the business is at. All right, bro. I don't like it. I don't fucking watch. I don't need it. Can't you, like, subtly do the product placement like every other fucking TV show? You know what I'm saying? I was telling Casey this the other day, man. We're watching, so I love Suits, right? I loved Harvey Specter. Mike, I loved it. I loved the show when it was on. But I'm rewatching it. And you start to see, as the season gets more and more popular, you start to see more product placement. All of a sudden, they're on an Apple phone, and they show you the Apple, right? Or he's in the server center, and it's all Dell computers. Everybody's got a Dell. Sick, man. That's perfect. Makes me, you know what? I might buy a Dell because Harvey Specter needs one. Let me tell you something. I am not going to fucking Riyadh because it's on WWE. I'm not doing it. Okay? I'm not buying Slim Jims anymore, specifically out of spite for the fucking table being sponsored by Slim Jim. I'm not doing it. It's that simple, man. It gets to a point where it's too far, and it's like, I hate to use that term, jump the shark, but it's almost jump the shark. That's where I'm at with it. I'm not buying iDrink specifically. I just don't, it doesn't do it for me. I'm not buying Prime. I'm not trying it. It's garbage. You are doing the opposite for me. So, I don't know, man. As a fan, it sucks. Personally, that's kind of where I'm at with it. And again, it just becomes too commercialized where it's no longer the thing we loved. It's just like, it's very similar to music. And I'll say this. I love Fall Out Boy, okay? But you're not going to sit here and tell me that their records that were produced by these massive pop things are better than From Under the Cork Tree. You're just not. It's not going to happen. It's not. It's never going to be better than it was. So yeah, man, that's me, dude. I don't know. That's kind of my theory behind it.
That's one thing that I've thought about with AEW since it's really came around. And I've said it to many, many people, like, it's not, of course, there's a point to where, you know, things happen and it can look embarrassing and it can be kind of embarrassing, but it's to the point where WWE is so crisp, so clean, so perfect. And, you know, with the ads, you know, the money, I get it, but be a little bit more exclusive. Don't just, you know, hand ads out. I'm sure they're making very good money.
Good for
but just
fucking
don't,
them. But why do you have to take away from us?
Exactly. Just don't, you know, be a little bit more exclusive. If it is hot, you know, those big companies, you know, will pay to be on the mat.
The most, right? Yeah, it's almost like, hey, we're kind of whoring ourselves out to every, you know, that's the thing we talked about with NASCAR. I think you see that a lot is like, it is these like companies that you would have never seen before now in the business. And that's cool. As long as it's one, I don't need to see or do the cross thing where you're doing it. Like, I get it. But like I said, like, this isn't NASCAR. So what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. You're already charging me to get in the show. Then you're going to charge me to fucking watch this bullshit. That's where I'm at with it. So, well, it be like that. All right. WWE's Disney. We're moving on to the next comment here. SummerSlam. So, unfortunately, I am out of office the next 2 Thursday nights. I've got we're flying to Boise to work a race. I'm racing actually at Boise, and then the following week I've got to work a race in Virginia when I'll hopefully get to see TY there. And so we won't get a chance to have the show for the next 2 weeks, but we'll be back after that. So as we start to hit the stride, so we thought I'd go through a few SummerSlam pickups here, talk about some of the crucial matches. First off, what's your thoughts on SummerSlam as it's shaping up as a whole, as a fan? What do you think?
I think, man, if it was one night, I think it'd be shaping up pretty good. But I think they're going to be stretching themselves pretty thin to, to fill 2 cards for, 2 nights back to back. Of course, I'm sure, like you said, there's going to be a lot of BS in between, a lot of ads, all that stuff. But they kind of struggled a little bit with WrestleMania. I felt. Yeah. I don't know, the way it's looking now. The matches that have been announced, I do think are going to be good. But I just don't, stretching it over 2 nights, I just don't think is the right thing to do.
Yeah, man, I don't know that they have enough stuff right now to make it 2 nights, other than obviously they're going to hammer you with ads and commercials and all stuff. We've got a ton of friends that are going. A lot of people are going to be there. It looks like it'll be, obviously it's a spectacle now, and I get it, right? I right now, I don't watch SmackDown outside of the Cody segments. I just don't. I do know that I saw someone say that they think SmackDown has the best tag team wrestling in all of wrestling, and I was like, this is how I know y'all don't fucking watch anything else. So I'm not going to get in that argument. But right now, as of right now, the world tag titles aren't on the fucking card. It's a 2-night show. They never are. It's a 2-night show. What are we doing? They're not on the show? What are we? Come on, man. I'm not even going to get into that. That's a whole nother argument for a whole nother time. Anyways, let's go through it here. We'll go through a couple matches, obviously. You tell me, here's the thing. As we go through the matches, tell me who you think's going to win. Then I want you to tell me, if it were a 1-night card, would this match be on the card?
Gotcha, okay.
Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. I'm going to preface it with this. The SummerSlams I grew up on didn't have a title match as their main event. It was Hulk Hogan in a tag team match for the first 3, just to put that out there. So keep that in mind. So Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed.
Well, first off, I'm gonna start, man. That would definitely be on the SummerSlam or any pay-per-view, especially big pay-per-view.
Sure.
You got 2 of the biggest guys, and Jey Uso and Roman. Absolutely, and I think they're definitely going to take it as well.
Yeah.
I think I see some funny stuff. Who knows how long Rollins is going to be out? But I do think we see some stuff with Heyman happen. But Roman and them are definitely going to take the win.
Okay. I hope Roman and Jey lose. I don't think they deserve to win. I just don't understand how you're making Paul Heyman's group a huge deal if they don't win. I do also think it would be on a night 1 for sure. Here's the thing. As much as I hate Roman, I don't enjoy Roman at all. And I understand that he is over with a large population. I get that. What I don't understand is why he's over. Because I heard his promo. I didn't enjoy it. And so I'm not, this isn't like, this is me being objective about it. Like, I get that he's over and everybody likes him. I understand that. I just don't understand why they like it, why they enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? But yes, I do think it would be on night one. It would be on a one night card, but I don't think they win, man. I think Braun and Bronson deserve to win because I don't think you get guys over with putting over your part-timers again. I just don't see it.
Yeah. But it's WWE, so we both know how that.
We're all getting fucked anyway. What's the difference? Dom versus AJ Styles Intercontinental title match.
Man, this has been one of the most entertaining things for me the past few weeks, where AJ Styles has just been kind of popping up out of nowhere. It really reminds me of some of like the early 2000s shit that was like really drew me in. And
sure,
but I think that would be another match that would definitely be included on a one night SummerSlam.
Yeah.
I don't know if AJ will win. I think Dominic will take it, but I would like to see AJ Styles get the Intercontinental title before he hangs it up.
Has anyone cooled off more than Dom?
He had one hot night and that was it.
Yeah, they have like ruined it. He should be a top guy right now. He should be in the conversation of world title. Like, he should be the hottest thing going. He's works the mic, most heel heat, all that stuff. I think they kind of ruined it personally, but
and he won that at WrestleMania, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, maybe he'll be over this year since they're going back.
I hope, man. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna pick Dom as well. I think like you got to kind of stoke that fire. I hope he does go over. So yeah, I'm picking Dom, and I do also think it would be a night one. Solo versus Fatu. It's a steel cage match, by the way.
What's that?
Steel cage match, by the way.
Oh, nice. Yeah. No, I think that would probably be on a one night SummerSlam, and there's no way Fatu's winning though. I mean, there's no way Fatu's losing. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Unless some of those other guys with Solo get involved.
Sure.
I do think Fatu will win, and unless those guys get involved.
Sure. No
Which
doubt.
there's a good chance that's going to happen as well.
Sure. For sure. I don't know why it does that. Give me 1 second here. Switch back to myself and then back to this. Maybe. It'll maybe pick back up. Yeah, dude. I think obviously Fatu is gonna win in a cage, deserves it, but I don't know what they're gonna do there. And I do think it would obviously, because of the stipulation and because of what they've done, I do think it deserves to be on a one night show. Okay. Roxanne Perez and Raquel versus Flair and Bliss for the tag titles, women tag titles.
Absolutely not. I don't think that would definitely. I mean, that could be a Raw match, maybe main event a Raw, but I don't think that. I love
the women's. I do, and I like that they do the women's tags and all that stuff. But this specifically is the shits, so that's going to be a hard pass for me as well on a 2-night show. Who you got winning?
I don't know. I think Roxanne them will hold it till Liv comes back, and then from there just kind of continue building that storyline, and that's been one of the more entertaining things on Raw for the past year or so.
Yeah.
I think that they'll keep it to continue kind of strengthening and building that storyline.
Yeah. So there's obviously word on the street that Charlotte was originally going to separate this, and it was going to be her versus Bliss at the pay-per-view, but she said, no, I want to keep us together, which makes me think she's winning those women's tag champs. So,
yeah, it's possible.
Yeah,
for sure.
Becky Lynch and Lyra, absolutely zero shot that should be on the main show. I don't care who wins. I could hope they both lose.
Yeah, same thing, man. I don't know why they've continued to keep those two in a feud together. I mean, her and Bayley, I know they're probably going to do that. They're definitely going to do that at SummerSlam. But it's like, man, you could have done this as a match on Raw. But that's also, like I mentioned, they're going to stretch themselves pretty thin with a 2-night pay-per-view and kind of book themselves into a corner. I mean, we've seen them do it a little bit with WrestleMania, and now you're doing 2 events like that a year.
Right.
That's going to be pretty tough.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I'm out on that. I don't even know who's going to win or why it's going to happen. So we'll see. Naomi versus Rhea versus Io Sky.
Yeah, I think that would definitely be on a one night SummerSlam. The storyline that they've had, of course, you kind of throw Naomi kind of in the middle now.
Yeah.
But it's been damn good, especially what Naomi's been able to do
I
since.
love Naomi, what she's done for sure.
And just the stuff that she is saying, backstage in the ring, her promo is great compared to what it used to be. And I think Naomi will probably keep the belt. But I think it's going to be probably one of the better matches of the 2 nights. Probably could main event, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those ones that could too as well. I think it's such a big deal on that. I love what Naomi's done. Obviously, Rhea's the massive star, and so is Io. So we'll see what happens there. I'm gonna pick. I think Naomi retains, honestly. So we'll see what happens. Gunther versus Punk. Obviously, a big change and shift due to, I guess, Seth being hurt or whatever. I don't know where they were going with that, obviously. But yeah, Gunther and Punk. And I don't think it would be on a one-night show. If this were like old school one night back in the day, I don't think this would be on the show because I think they're forcing it a little quick. Obviously the shift. And so I don't know, man. I don't think it would be, but I do think Punk loses again. We got to stop giving him world title shots. Put him in the IC title picture, right? Obviously he's a massive star. I get that, but like, I don't know. That's my opinion right now. I don't see I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm picking Gunther to win.
Yeah, man, I hope Gunther wins. Of course, I'm not a CM Punk guy, but like you said, if they continue to give him title shot after title shot, I unfortunately think he's going to eventually get it for, even if it's just for a split second and,
Sure.
hang on to it for a month. Then, I mean, hell, they're doing PLEs, every 3 weeks now. So,
yeah, for sure.
it's possible he could hang on to it for a little bit.
Clash in Paris is like pretty quickly after this too.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that Gunther will probably, but then again, I just don't feel like it makes sense to give it back to Gunther to have him drop it again. I think CM Punk's probably going to win, but I just don't feel like it makes sense. But I do feel like it would probably be on one of those, maybe one of the not so much better SummerSlams in the early 2000s when they had this draft and had both champions defending. So I think they would probably be on it.
Sure. Agreed. Randy Orton and Jelly Roll versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul.
Man, the tag team match I never needed and never wanted. Man, I think of course Jelly Roll. They're not putting them in there to take an L, so they're definitely going to win.
If I do the pool, I'm putting 27 points on this. I'm putting all my points on this. Whatever, man. Yeah, I don't think it deserves to be a match, but shout out to Jelly Roll for doing it. It's cool, man, and I get the celebrity part of it. It's not that I'm knocking that part of it. I get it. Yeah, I just don't need it, so I'm out on that.
Yeah.
Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill, though. I will say I love Tiffany Stratton, and I also love Jade Cargill. I don't think Jade Cargill has done a great job in WWE in the sense of like how that's worked out for her, because I loved her return. I thought that was sick when she came out and attacked Naomi. I thought that was great. I thought the stuff she did with Naomi was awesome. But I really wish that was the title match at SummerSlam. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, same. That would make so much more sense. And I feel like when you had Jade, Bianca, and Naomi, of course everybody knew Bianca was a star, and everybody thought the same thing about Jade, which I mean she still is, but like it's kind of crazy to think Naomi was the one who came out on the other side as like the champion.
Yeah, dude, runner. For sure. That's why I think it's so weird that it's happened this way. It's just like kind of like they were like, all right, we're cutting this and we're doing, and it almost happened. They did the same storyline. This is when Naomi won the title. That's the same Seth storyline. Seth lost to Randy Orton at Mania earlier that night, and then cashed in, make it a 3-way, wins the title. Naomi loses to Jade, cashes in, turns it into a 3-way, and wins. So I get it. I get that part of it because you're like breaking up that storyline. You're ending that storyline now, basically, is what's happening. And that's fine. I just wasn't ready for it to end, I didn't think. I thought maybe one more could have been cool. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I do think that this is cool for Jade and Tiffany. I hope I still don't know, like, if Jade's ready to be a like monster champ where she because she has to pretty much destroy everybody to really look. I love Jade. Like I said, she's been one of my favorites since she joined AEW. I've told people that. So like I love Jade, but I think that she's better as like a monster heel champion. Like if she's gonna do this, she needs to be the monster. So I don't know if she's ready to destroy Tiffany.
That's really hard to do as a champion, man, because you got to have really opponents that make it realistic. Like it's possible that they could win. And with Jade, I feel like that's going to be really hard to do.
Yeah. So I don't think this would make, based on where they're at in the storyline right now, I don't think this would make the title thing. I don't think this would make a one-night show. But I do think Jade wins. I think they're going to give her due and see if she can be a champ. So I think she wins.
Yeah, I think so as well. Yeah, I think Tiffany's had it, of course, for a good little while now. She's been through some pretty good stories. So I do think they're going to give it to Jade.
I think they do something with Jade to align her with somebody to beat Tiffany. I think someone costs Tiffany and they align together with Jade or something like that. I think they do some kind of schmaz thing and make Jade, into that thing. So we'll see what happens. All right, main event, obviously. Cody Rhodes, John Cena, number 2. What's your thoughts? Obviously, it would be on a one-night show. We all know that. We don't have to have that discussion. But who are you picking here, man?
I think what they've been doing, especially this past Friday on SmackDown, I think that was really good. I feel like the way that Cena kind of presented himself and was playing, Mr. Hollywood, I got a movie I got to do. I'm not going to make it to SummerSlam. I thought that kind of played off a little bit better than talking shit to the crowd week after week after week. Man, I feel like, because of course everybody talks shit on him anyway for being time doing the movies. I think that would have been better to play into that a little bit more than, just belittling and berating the crowd, every single week. But the way that Cody, kind of attacked him, a lot of people are thinking that, that might be a slight tease at a heel turn. I'm like, I don't see that a bit, but
yeah.
I like where they're going with it for sure. And I think Cody will probably get it back.
I hope so. I mean, obviously, I think, being a mega Cody guy, right? Like, and I get it. And I'm a huge Cody fan. I don't know where they go with Cody right now. If he doesn't win, then what? Then what are we doing? Right? Like, what's the goal there? He has to win Rumble for a third time and be the only other 3-time winner other than Austin. Right? I think he would be the only other 3-time winner, right? Austin?
Yeah, I think so. And then, honestly, what did they do with Cena at this point? I mean, he's starting to, check off all those boxes, I'm sure, on the opponents.
Yeah, man, I think that they did Cena Orton too early. I think they did CM Punk Cena too early. Because it's like those are his 2 feuds. Like, unless The Rock's coming back to beat him at his last match. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you going to do at that last match? Like, I obviously, we're on the ride, and we're going to see where it goes. And, like, it's cool to see, like, hopefully, whatever happens. But, yeah, man, honestly, dude, I actually think Cena wins here at SummerSlam. I don't think they take the belt off of Cena yet. I think we're on for a ride, and we see what happens with Cena losing at his last match. I think that's the only way to take a title off a guy that's retiring, personally.
Yeah, the last match.
Yeah, if you're going to do the whole thing.
Put someone over, which should be pretty cool.
Yeah, they did just announce an Elite on Mattel I saw today, and it's like 6 different title belts that he held. The spinner belt, the undisputed belt that he had, when he had when he first won from JBL. So, and the WWE, the world, like there's a bunch of different title belts with it. It looks kind of sick, but it's like $50. So I didn't buy it today. Not that everybody knows like, oh, it's $50, but it's like, yeah, it's for the belts. Basically, that's what I want it for because I don't really give a shit about the Cena figure because the Cena figure kind of sucked. I don't like the Champ is Here shirt. I wish it would have been like either a jersey or something else that he had. Like I preferred those, but anyway. So yeah, they're doing that. But yeah, man, it's gonna be exciting. Obviously, SummerSlam. Are you excited for the show as a whole?
Yeah, I think for what they've announced so far, I mean that's got me pretty pumped up. And
Yeah.
some of the matches, like the jelly roll thing, could it have been skipped out on? Do we need to see another celebrity in the ring? Probably not. But I do think it'll be pretty cool to see exactly what happens, how Jelly Roll looks in a wrestling ring. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Obviously, they did the whole thing on Fallon or Kimmel or whichever show they hosted. I forget. It might have been Kimmel. I forget. But we'll see, man. Hey, SummerSlam obviously next weekend. The 2nd and 3rd, right? I think is what it is. Let me see. Yeah, 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah.
So we're doing it. We'll see what happens. All right, last topic here. AEW rolling along, obviously getting ready for Forbidden Door later on in August. We'll be back before that, and then they go to All Out in Toronto like 2 weeks after that, and then they kind of roll in, right? Then you've got Revolution and Full Gear and all these things that are everything starts to roll again, right? We start to get on that road. Dynasty and all those things. Wrestle Dream is in St. Louis. I might potentially do that because it's not that far, and it's on a Saturday, which is awesome. In between national events for me, so my racing season kind of is like a lot of things start to kind of happen during those later months here, especially. So, but that'll be cool with AEW. But all that to say, next week Moxley and Hangman. I don't know, and the reason I want to talk about the future, I don't know that there's a more consistent product that AEW's ever done. I mean, they're on a streak of like, I can watch it every week and just be like, holy shit. Like last night they introduced the new trio with Sky Blue, Julia Hart, and Tekla. I think that's cool. And they called themselves like something similar to Triangle of Death, but like pretty like a much cooler one, right? Because obviously Triangulera de la Muerte was like the cool. They didn't call it that. They called it Triangle of Death, which sucked. They should have went with the Spanish version, and so they missed that, and I think they really hit it. I'll have to look it up while we talk about it, but it was cool. I love the promo that they did for them, the pre-tape and all that stuff. The stuff with MJF and Bobby Lashley was cool. Obviously, with MJF going to be Happy Gilmore comes out tomorrow, so MJF should be at the top because he's going to be on everybody's TV. It's interesting. I just think like AEW right now is really crushing it. I am though wondering what they're going to do for Forbidden Door because I don't know where they're going with that. I do think potentially Konosuke versus Okada makes sense. Gabe Kidd potentially could be hurt, so I don't know. Ospreay maybe versus ZSJ. There's a ton of stuff that could happen, but I'm like really, really excited. I've like become like a full-on AEW. You know what I mean? Like before I was pretty down the middle, but I'm like, obviously there's still things that suck, but whatever. But like, they're really hitting on all cylinders on a lot of stuff right now. What's your feeling about it? Obviously, after All In, we see now 3 shows, technically counting Collision. What's your thoughts? Obviously, they're in a residency in Chicago right now. I love the venue. I think it's cool as shit. Casey said something about it last night. She's like, damn, this is like really cool. Like, where are they at? And I was like, yeah, it doesn't even matter that they don't have 10,000 people. It's cool that it's like this venue is sick.
Yeah, dude, I'm definitely, I've always been a big AEW guy ever since they started because they started at a time where WWE was not going downhill, but, a little to be desired as far as a product as a whole. Yeah. For me anyway. And I'm definitely, leaning towards AEW a lot more nowadays because of, a lot of the stuff you mentioned. They're consistently, trying to build some new stuff. They're going to cool buildings now, and I think that a lot of AEW's hate early on probably wouldn't have even happened if they were if they would have started in these smaller buildings and then kind of gradually worked their way up.
Yeah, it's like they were so far up top, then they had that down, and now they're back swinging, right?
Exactly. And you go to a building and it looks empty. You're going to get a lot of hate and talking shit, but they're going to these really cool venues that sound awesome with not 10,000 people in it. So I think it's doing them a lot of favors that they probably should have done in the first place when they first started as a small startup company. Yeah. And I do feel like a lot of that hate probably wouldn't have happened. And another thing is like, man, a lot of people, especially the older guys, Eric Bischoff being one of them, they're talking about ratings and shit like that. I'm like, man, people aren't watching cable as much as they used to. People aren't tuning in every week, sitting down in front of their TV from 8 to 10. People get it in other ways now. They get it, on the internet, whether that be social media or, even streaming it. I'm not sure how the ratings play in with the streams for HBO Max.
1000%, dude. I mean, I watch it post afterwards too, for sure. So like, you're not counting those towards ratings? Like, because I didn't watch it live means it's not popping? I don't know about all that bullshit. I don't watch SmackDown live, so is it popping or not? Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, and then a lot of people are saying, as far as like how AEW just tries to cater to, that certain hardcore wrestling fan. But at the same time, that those certain hardcore wrestling fans are going to show up every single time they're in the area. They're going to buy T-shirts. Whereas, WWE, when they come to town, some people might not even be able to afford to go to those shows.
Dude, 100% not even be able to go to that shit, dude. I mean, so, I make a really good living at my job, and I don't even want to spend the money to go to WWE because it's so expensive.
Yeah, same. And I do feel like as long as AEW, I feel like they're actually gonna they're going back to being that alternative, as how they started. And it seems like they're climbing uphill, and they've been continuing to climb for probably for me since the beginning of the year, maybe even the end of last year.
100%. I think they continue to be on a streak with that. And so it's funny because I talked about AEW Future. I want to pan this in here with TNA Slammiversary. Obviously, you probably saw the stuff online. I don't know if you watched it at all, but I was a TNA guy growing up, and I've said this a lot. And I really enjoyed it, right? Those were my teen years, like when they were really popping into college, and I was like watching it pretty actively. Slammiversary, looking at the card and watching what happened, obviously, and the stuff that they did. Cool, man, that they were in the UBS building. My thing with this is that if AEW did the same thing, no one cheered it. Everyone shits on it, right? It's like, the UBS building holds like 15,000 people. They sold less. Everybody said over 7,000, which like whatever. Okay. I don't care about the numbers. My point being is that not the numbers thing. It's that the numbers thing is dumb. Did people enjoy it is the point that matters. That's the only thing that matters. I watched some of the TNA stuff after that, right? I watched the show. I did not enjoy it. Having Mike Santana not win was a giant, huge, massive miss. Okay? And I've said it when AEW didn't pull the trigger on certain things. Having Mike Santana lose when you had all that going on and he was supposed to be your guy, giant miss. I don't think any of it is. I saw Eric Bischoff was like, I truly believe TNA could be the second company. They could be on top. Brother, I'm here to tell you, unless they're going on a national cable television channel that rivals TNT or TBS, which there aren't that many. There's like ESPN. There's like Fox, right? There's not a ton that rival. I'm talking about from a watchable watch standing like that. USA and it just doesn't exist. That there's not that many, right? I just don't. I don't know, man. And I watch. So my point being is that AEW really continues to do what they do best, and I really enjoy that. And they're building new guys. They're getting new people on. They're not forcing stuff that we don't want to see down our throat like Jericho. I think they finally learned, like, I don't think people really want to watch Jericho. I don't think the Big Bill thing was going over. There's a lot of stuff that's not working. Now, do they still do shit that doesn't make sense? Yes. That's always going to happen, right? But that's with every wrestling company. But as long as your goods are better than your bads, like as long as you're winning more than you're losing, that's a win. And I hope that TNA continues to succeed, and I hope that they continue to do. I don't know that I love the WWE relationship continuing on forever, but like that's not my problem. I don't care. I'm still gonna watch some. I'm not gonna watch TNA every week. Will I still check their stuff out? And like, if there's a good match that people are, I'll probably watch it, and I'll probably continue to see it. But AEW, I'm going to continue to like see that. The same with WWE, and the same with New Japan. And I don't know, man. I just am excited for what AEW is doing because I think it does lift up other companies as well. I think if AEW is doing well, that means wrestling's doing really well. And obviously we know that, right? Because TNA did 7,000 people in New York. So like, obviously wrestling is popping. And
I'm kind of surprised people were really shocked about, TNA moving those kind of tickets because, I mean, TNA, they haven't really been a household name for many years, but, they've been around. They were on Spike TV in the early 2000s. And I mean, to every, teenage guy or early 20s, 30s guy,
Yeah.
that was the channel for
Dude,
a long time.
100%. That's what I'm saying.
So I really don't understand why that expectation is there for a company, that's 5 years old. Maybe just because they have some of the bigger names that were from the indies and guys that people knew without even going to WWE. But like that expectation is so night and day difference from TNA, who's been around for 20 some years, versus AEW, who's literally just a startup company. It was literally 5-6 years ago.
Like I said, man, I think that they're doing the right things. I hope they continue to succeed. I think the stuff with Hangman, once he moves on from Moxley and moves into, maybe it's Swerve, maybe it's Okada, maybe it's Omega, maybe it's Ospreay, wherever it goes, there's a lot of top guys. And like I said, TNA, hopefully they realize, like, oh shit, dude, maybe. And I understand, right? Everyone's like, oh man, Undertaker chokeslammed the TNA champ. Yeah, bruh. He buried your TNA champ. He didn't put Trick over. And in my opinion, I was like, that obviously, I don't see where what does that do you? What good did that, what storyline did that build for you? I'm not saying I know better, but I'm just saying, like, you're comparing the two and it's not the same thing. So I hope AEW continues to go
out there and freaking blue light glasses, man. And it's like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Like, this is not the Undertaker we all know. This isn't the American Badass we know. It's
like I said, hey, man, good for y'all. Good for them. I hope they enjoyed it. I like NXT. I really do. But I don't see why TNA has to be on it. That's my point. Is like, I don't understand I don't really get like what the business move is. And obviously I don't have the same acumen as Nick Khan and Triple H and those guys. I don't know. But like, I don't know where this is going. We'll see what happens. Obviously I'm going to keep watching wrestling because I'm going to keep watching wrestling. But it didn't make me want to watch NXT was my point. And it didn't make me want to watch TNA. Because Undertaker was there. But we'll see. My point being, all this to say is that AEW's on, and it continues to, I hope that, like I said, I hope wrestling as a whole continues to be up, and I hope we continue to see success in TNA. I hope they do. I'm interested to see what happens as we move forward with all of it. Do you think
WWE, kind of like UFC? I know that they bought like a smaller like fight league, and they just kind of absorbed into UFC. Do you think that's what TNA does with WWE?
Bro, what's the point of that? They already have NXT. They have Evolve. They have the WWE ID shit. What do they need TNA for?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. But
so I don't know.
I've been seeing a lot that it's a TKO thing, like pocket everything you can and then just absorb it into the WWE, and then you're kind of into that monopoly again.
Well, I guess we'll find out as the world turns. We'll continue to see what happens in professional wrestling. Well, man, thank you for joining us again. Obviously, another week. A lot of things happen. I know we spent a lot of time, like I said at the beginning. I got a lot of texts just recently here just about Hulk Hogan. Obviously, people that don't watch wrestling reaching out to me because they know I do. A lot of different things, a lot of things happening. Obviously, we'll be back, like I said, 2 weeks off for my stuff. We'll be back after that. Tyler, anything you want to say before we go, man?
Oh, man, just rest in peace to Hulk Hogan, and hopefully some of these events coming up are definitely will live up to the hype, especially SummerSlam. I'm kind of anxious to see, especially with it being in New York. Of course, the celebrity thing I'm a little bit over, but I am anxious to see kind of what they do with maybe some outsiders. Not really looking forward to
maybe Jelly Roll brings out maybe Jelly Roll brings out just like everybody, because obviously he's friends with everybody now, so like maybe he just brings out a litany of celebrities to attack Logan Paul, and just maybe it turns into a lumberjack match, but the lumberjacks are all celebrities.
Hey, that would actually make it probably worth watching.
See, I could book WWE right now. We'll see what happens, man. We hope you guys join us. Like I said, thank you all for joining us for another week. Until next time, when we go around the